Hello and welcome to Google Add-ons. We're going to be covering some awesome add-ons for Google Documents, Google Forms, Google Sheets. Alas, no love for Google Slides. It does not have add-ons. And we're going to go in that quintessential order. And this is such a great reason to get people more involved with digital learning because Google add-ons make things so much easier. It's basically a third-party but Google approved mini program that runs inside of either documents, forms, and sheets and does a task that will normally take a long time in a really clever and short way. Let's start with some examples. Now, to access add-ons for Google Docs, we simply click the add-on button and we go to Get Add-ons, and there are several to choose from. I've narrowed it down to 4 awesome add-ons that you can use. The first we're going to look at is GMath, which I already have installed. And GMath is getting better and better because it's now managed in conjunction with Text Help, the same people that make Read and Write for Google. Our first example of GMath will be creating a handwriting entry. So if you had a touch screen, or you can use your mouse like I am, we simply write into this box and we click Insert. Bam, I just did a math problem on a computer not using my keyboard, and it wasn't that hard. Really amazing, really great when going digital in math. Here we can create our own statistical displays by entering in our number combination and clicking Insert. Now my statistics are broken down into a bar graph. One of the best features of GMath and what you probably expected for the more complicated statistical display is just making a graph. And here we can actually plot an XYZ axis as I just entered. You also have options for functions, logarithms, and cosines. I'm going to do a simple quadrilateral plot with a slope. So I have my entry, and there it's generated. In 8th grade in high school, can still do math digitally without pencil and paper. Now, perhaps the most awesome feature of GMath is doing voice to equation building. So if you click Create an Expression, you can speak into the microphone and not have to use the built-in equation bar or look for these special characters like square roots, cubes, cosines, and insert the answer correctly written into your document. You click the microphone and you speak a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And then I can insert anywhere I have my cursor already pointed. Similarly, I can even speak the square root of 64 and insert that in. So if students have trouble writing it, or as the teacher you're just overwhelmed with all this paper, you can still do this kind of work online with Google. Next up, we have Easy Bibliography Creator. Now, as you know definitely from taking my other courses, that you can do in-text citations easy within Google Documents. However, it does not build and catalog a proper works cited page. This makes it very easy to manage. As you see, I already have a bibliography made, and once I pull it up, there is all my edits where I can add, remove, change the format, do whatever I want. Let's add a new reputable source right here. It'll do the citation for me. I'm going to search for a book, a very reputable book, I might add, and I'm just going to copy and paste in its ISBN number. So as I hit search, I see my reputable scholarly source, Twilight by Stephanie Myers. I'm going to select it, and now it's added in my stored bibliography. And when I click Add to Bibliography, there she appears in Chicago format. I can also cite a whole website just by copying and pasting the URL. I'm going to go to Slate, which is a very one-sided, politically one-sided website, and I'll put in a controversial article about our new upcoming Secretary of Education. Not making a point, it's just the first thing I found. Cha-ching, now it's in my bibliography according to alphabetical order. I inserted it, there it is. Spaced properly, don't have to worry about citation locations, that hanging a dent. You just have to know what it's supposed to look like. You know what? I don't want Chicago, I want MLA. Add to my bibliography, it's in MLA format. I want an APA, add bibliography, bam, everything's in APA. And this always automatically generates the end of your document. So it makes citation that much easier, so you or your students can focus more on the content of what you're trying to argue than have to worry about citations. This next add-on saves myself and my wife a lot of time. And my wife does this in the classroom. I do this for making surveys. But you see, you go to paste multiple choices in a Google form. You can paste your title, but when you go to paste all this that you want to be multiple choice answer or a checklist, this is what happens. A mess. You cannot just copy and paste multiple choice answers and make a Google form out of it. You have to do it one line at a time. You have to go back and forth. But we have Docs to Form, which is a life-saving tool when you already have something in text format and you want to convert it to a Google form and you have to do it all from scratch. This makes it a little bit easier. So I just select my question type and I click use this text. There, my question's inserted. What kind of question do I want it to make? I want to make a multiple choice. And this is what you have to look at. Every time I want it to make a new multiple choice line, I just put a semicolon. So I'm going to copy my first option in this matrix, paste, and then end it with a semicolon. Now I'm going to copy and paste number 2. And I'll end with a semicolon because I want another multiple choice. I want number 3 to be a multiple choice right here. And I do that all the way through 5. And on 5, I'm not going to put a semicolon because I don't want another choice. I want to stop at 5 multiple choice. So I'm not going to end with a semicolon. All right, I'm going to do the same thing for another question. Now I can ask for name and I click create form. My form is generated. I want to take a look at it. It has my select your name, which was an option, and it has all of my questions in the correct format. Let's click preview so you can see a non-edit version of it. There I go. It's absolutely perfect, and that would save you so much time. Definitely if you want to copy and paste a whole bunch of text at once, then go back in and just type your semicolons. Instead of copying and pasting one line, you can copy and paste an entire paragraph and then put semicolons behind the sentences you want to be choices.
Form recycler. So I can reuse questions and answers from a previous form into a new one and not have to start all over again. It's really cool. I'm going to show you how to get to it. We click our triple dots to the right. We go to Add-ons. We skip Add Collaborators, Print Page, all that. And there's not many to choose from here. You probably could just scroll down to find it. There it is, Form Recycler. Mine says Manage because I already added it. Now to launch it, there's that different spot that I told you at the very beginning, Add-ons. So we're going to launch it. I go down here, I have a lot running, Form Recycler. Click Recycle Form Questions, yes please. Let's recycle a question from, let's use Google Form Example 1. It's loading. It's going to scan through all the questions and answers I put in here. There we go. I'm going to pick this page top and 3 of these drop-down boxes for mathematics. Insert questions. And there they are. I just used a previous form and I didn't have to go back and redo everything. Now if I want to do my answer key and my point values, again I would actually have to click, give a point value, pick a correct answer. But now I don't have to do everything again from scratch if I don't want to.
Now for this example, I have a basic behavior tracking chart for antecedent behavior consequences, so you can collect your data on the fly. And Google by default gives you some awesome data, but you can't always compare it side by side. You can get a lot more charting out of your data with a really cool add-on for Google Forms. Advanced Form Summary, which is an awesome add-on that gives you so many unique ways to compare your data inside of Google Forms. A menu pops up to the bottom, and right here I can click the drop-down categories of my data. And I'll go back and explain it, but this is where we select our categories to filter our search results. And there is my awesome summary. Already you see there's more side-by-side comparisons. I can search exclusively by student. There is still hover text. It shows me each student per setting. It just gives me so many ways I can look at my data and compare it from my Google form without having to bring all this stuff into a spreadsheet if I'm not comfortable with that. So if Google summary isn't enough, this awesome summary brings even more to the table. Now you can always go back and edit your filters. Right here I'm just going to pick timestamp, and the only choice I have is my time filter up top. And time filter is the only one that's a drag and drop line. Everything else would be a drop down box for your categories. The next add-on I have for you is Doc Appender that allows all responses in a Google form to go into a document. The catch is you have to make your documents and name them first. So right here I have a document for all 3 students in my class, Danny, Johnny, and student. Now when I go to my add-on and I launch it, I have my menu that pops up. I'm going to not create a new target document. I'm going to pick one I already have. Oh, here it wants me to select a question that's going to be required to pick what document to go to. I pick student. As soon as I hit refresh, you see that my document names are now the multiple choice options on the first question. So if you pick Danny, the results from this form will go to Danny's document. Johnny will go to Johnny's document. Student will go to student document. This is particularly great if students are going around a table and doing peer review. They're ranking other people's projects or presentations. Each student's document can be chosen from this list, and all the answers will instantly be transmitted there for review. I'm going to select all the possible choices, including timestamp, to go to my Appended documents, and let's see this work. I'm going to fill one out right quick. Now that I filled out my form, I'm going to check my document, and there you have it. Every single category is placed on here, and for every additional submission, another line will come here, and all the choices in this format will appear. My final great add-on for Google Forms to show you today is Choice Eliminator. This is a great tool that allows the multiple choice answer to disappear when it's picked the first time. Really great for checking out items or giving kids different options on choosing projects, but limiting it to 1 per person or 1 per group. So I'll launch up Choice Eliminator, and right now it detects every question in my sample, and I want to pick one to be eliminated, setting, and that's it. Every time on a Google form when something is picked from the setting question, it's going to disappear. That's all I had to do. All right, let's go back and look at it live, and now it's gone. It's not there anymore. Really one of the easiest add-ons to use for Google Forms. Now, if we really want to take control of our data, we can also make the forms populate a Google spreadsheet every time it's submitted. So not only will we have our data here, we could also send it to a spreadsheet where we can do a little bit more with it. Now, if you're a inspiring spreadsheet guru, you could do a lot of data crunches from here, but something I recommend for everyone to do, and something I like to do, is make a sheet for every student as well. So you don't just have your overall class report, you can have an individual sheet for every student. To do this, we use an add-on called Roll Call. I'll walk you through it. You click Add-ons on your sheet. You would click Get Add-ons, but since we already have it, we highlight Roll Call and we click Start. It pops up to the side and it wants us to pick a column where it will make a separate sheet for each unique name given. It wants to make one of time, but I'm going to pick student. Make sure you have automatic selected so you won't have to do this each time. They'll be automatic. Here at the bottom, I have a page for each student, and I still have the whole class page where my Google form sends all the new information. In fact, whenever that sheet gets new information, it will now copy it to these appropriate sheets as well. So now I could print out an individual Excel sheet on a kid for all the behaviors thus far. The next add-on we have for you is Doctopus, which is really a combination between an extension and a Google Sheet to make a rubric for your Google Documents. It sounds a little complicated, and it can be, but you have to follow the steps. And the first thing is, if you're going to make an essay or writing assignment that you want to grade with a rubric, you can assign that inside of Google Classroom. Then we download the Goobric extension from the Chrome Web Store. We install and run the add-on Doctopus on a Google Sheet. We select our assignment. We select a rubric that we want to grade it by. And then just by using Goobric, we can paste that rubric on top of a Google document. It sounds convoluted, but hopefully I could demonstrate it in a way that makes sense. Firstly, I click Add an Assignment inside of Google Classroom. I'm just going to call it Read. I'm going to pick a document I already developed. It just says, read this link and write 3 pages. One of the most important things you'll want to do is pick make a copy for every student. So every student in your class would get their own individual copy of that writing assignment and be able to write their essay on that document. Now we're at the web store and we're downloading the extension called Goobric. Once you have that installed, it's time for our next step. We go into a Google Sheet and we run Doctopus. I'm going to select an assignment for my classroom, and it's going to recognize all my classes. I'm going to pick ELA because that's where my assignment is. And there's my one assignment called Read. And there's all my 2 students and a link to their copy. Now I'm ready to attach a Goobric. This is your actual rubric that you're going to use to grade those documents. I can look for one I already made, but I'm going to copy their default template. Here's their default template in Spanish. Just make sure you have these consistencies. On the first column, we have our categories that we would use in a rubric. And from column B and on, we have our different scales. Now this is on a scale of 1 to 3, but you have a scale of 1 to 10 if you want to. Let me select my rubric that I'm using that's in a Google Sheet. Attach this rubric. Now there are options where you can make this visible to students, so students can use peer review and paste their own review on top of people's essays and documents, which is a great new feature that came out this year. You can allow self-review as well. For the purposes in this video, we're just going to do a standard teacher view. Now it allows me to access their document and paste a Goobric. I'm going to click the quick link to get to their document. There is my fake essay. This one's by Jacob. Again, this is just the assignment that I gave him and that he filled out. Now I'm going to click my extension called Goobric. It puts my Google Sheet rubric on the top of it. As you see, there's my categories, there's my scale. All of this is right on top
of that kid's Google document. And I just click. I click the categories and I click the scale. And this may seem difficult in several steps, but in the long run, if you're grading by a rubric, this can only take about 5 minutes to set up once you get pretty good at it. I have a space for comments, and now let's see what it looks like after I click my button. See what it looks like. It pasted the rubric and shaded the areas I selected and gave my comment. And what's really great is that you don't even have to load this again and again for every document. I can click next, and then it gives me the next student in alphabetical order or in the order in which it was submitted, and I can go through and grade his rubric. He didn't do his test, but I still gave him some favorable scores on the rubric anyway. You can also leave a voice note as well. It can be kind of glitchy. Everything else is ironclad. This is the one feature I'm not going to demonstrate. It may work for you, so give it a try. Thank you so much for watching this video about Google Add-ons. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found something relevant that you can use. Unfortunately, there's just so many add-ons. I couldn't include them all, of course, in just a 20-minute video, but expect some more in the future.